How did you find DAC? Why did you come to DAC?
I found DAC going through some personal issues where I was looking for housing and I ran across a flyer of theirs and contacted and talked to Eva Jensen, which is the coordinator here. And she gave me some resources of places to call for housing. And upon looking up at the pamphlet that I found, I noticed that they had a lot of great things going on here, so I called her back and asked her did they need any volunteers.
Do you mind sharing your story about living with a disability?
Yes. Well, I was a athlete in school. Really didn't have a disability growing up. It wasn't until I was about 22 when I got diabetes. And it was a really bad situation where I didn't want to believe that I had that. So I didn't take real good care of myself and almost ended up in a diabetic coma and died before I went to the hospital. And years later found out I had sarcoidosis, which is a lung disease. So with all that, I've tried to work through the years. My last job was at Steelcase. I got sick, basically putting everybody who I work with in danger, so I had to quit working and finally come to terms that I have a disability. So.
What challenges have you faced?
Well, my biggest challenge is just that I face with my disability is just realizing and accepting that I have a disability. And that was probably my hardest step, is to accept it, but know that it's not a death sentence. It's only one if I keep denying it, because it will kill you, or you can take care of it and live with it.
Have you encountered any stigmas related to your disability?
Foremost, a lot of people don't really understand what diabetes is. So in that aspect, a lot of people think I can't eat this, eat that, and it's more of what I do. I carb count. I eat the right things, but I also am allowed to cheat a little bit if I carb count. And people don't realize that diabetes don't just mean sugar and candy. It's bread break down the carbs break down the sugar, and things like that. So a lot of times people be trying to give me all type of muffins or bread, rolls and stuff, and I'm like, well, I'd rather have the piece of candy because it's a lot less sugar in that than it would be of eating 2 or 3 rolls. So in that aspect, it's just people don't really understand or think. They just hear, being African American, a lot of my people say sugar, which is a funny term, but that's what they know. I say I'm a diabetic and they say, what's that? So because they just brought up to know it as being sugar that you can't have. So in that aspect, I really don't run across much stereotype. It's just the ignorance of not knowing the disease. And as far as my sarcoidosis, if I don't tell you, you wouldn't know.
How did you hear about CYAN?
CYAN was brought up to me with Eva Jensen when I did my intake. She wanted to know what some type of things I like to do, and the first thing that came up, I love to work with kids. In my church, I am involved in our youth ministry, and I am involved with the abstinence program and things of that sort. So she thought it'd be a great idea if I got involved in CYAN because it was bringing the young people and getting them more involved in advocating. So, with that being said, I was I think the first one to start with CYAN, and we just got the ball rolling in all aspects and just really understood the passion of getting the kids young and not waiting until they're are adults to try to break down all the barriers that is brought up in that aspect. So
Why did you want to get involved with the group?
why did I get involved with the group? Getting involved with the group is, for one, is giving back to my community to help it make it better, and to change people's minds about those with disabilities, because as being a part of CYAN and here at DAC, it has really opened my eyes to people with disabilities can do even more than what I can do, and I'm able-bodied. They're really unique in their great attitudes, and just the whole stigma that I had growing up. Being from a religious family, my mother really was big on volunteering and helping and stuff like that. So she instilled that in me at a very young age. So I continue that on even with my kids today. They volunteer, they help at food banks, and they do so many other things. So, yeah.
What sort of things have you done as a result of getting involved with DAC?
Well, I've changed my thought process about a lot of things. I'm more aware of what goes on in my community as far as the access to transportation for those with disability and without, with just the overall how the government works and talking to legislators and things like that. Um, just mingling with the mayors and going to conventions and things like that. So it really has opened my awareness to how things get done in the community and what steps to take to make those things happen.
Did you have any expectations about being part of an advocacy group?
My expectations is to make it better for the future generations, make it so they're not this big bridge between those able-bodied and those with a disability, that we all understand one another and work together and continue to move forward and start here but spread it throughout the country and possibly throughout the world. That's my expectations.
What is your favorite memory with CYAN?
Favorite memory is just really hanging out here, being around, messing with people, getting picked on, going to being offered the opportunity to go with Dave Bukowski, the director here, to Lansing, being introduced to people in Lansing, legislators there, and also probably my most memorable moment is the day I went and talked to the legislators on behalf of DAC and the other disability groups of the state of Michigan to get a grant.
How has working with CYAN and DAC changed you?
It has changed me, and it have given me back a joy that I had lost, because when I was homeless and lost my job, I really got into a dark place in my life where I really didn't come out my room for a while. I really didn't communicate with people anymore. I just didn't feel important anymore. I didn't feel like I was a provider. So it has given me back that sense of importance. It has given me a voice again, and it has really instilled in me that I am important to my community. So
If you could change the way that people look at disability, what would you change?
I think I would change probably just the attitudes of that people have. You know, the people that want the will to help. You know, I think that we as a community fall short on helping one another like it used to be back way before a community would have a garden and anyone could eat from it, or if I cook, the whole neighborhood could eat. It's things like that. I just think we have really fallen short of being a community, and it's all about self. So, yeah.
What advice would you give a younger person with a different disability or with the same disability?
What advice? Don't get down. Stay with joy. Stay positive. Negative will only kill you. Stay positive, even in the bad times, because it's only a season, you know. So you go through it. Once you get out of that season, it would be much greater rewards in the end if you stay positive.
Thank you.
No problem.